What's up, guys? Happy Aloha Monday. Welcome back to another episode of Healing with Pumehana. We're going to dive right into it because I have a lot to share. Well, kind of. Yeah, this weekend was a big one for me. Today's topic is on how I have and how I am overcoming my biggest obstacle, my biggest challenge. A little bit of backstory, a little bit of context. Some of you have been following me and some of you kind of know that there's some stuff going on with me and my mom. Well, over the weekend, it came to a head and it was resolved, but not in the way that you would think. We're not at this typical I love you. Oh my gosh, we're going to be okay. You understand me. I understand you. As a daughter, like you see me. We're not there. And over the weekend, of course, with the help of my big brother, which if you guys have siblings and you're resistant to them for whatever reason, everybody's on their own journey. And I have been resistant to opening up to my brother because he has very strong opinions, and I'm very protective, kind of, in a sense, with certain people on what I share and how I share it, because I know the influence that they have on me. But I finally got to a point in which I was like, I need somebody else who has context. So siblings are huge. And if you guys are in a place in which you absolutely can connect with your sibling, I highly, highly suggest it. Especially for those of you who had, trauma in your background. So, in any case, over the weekend, I spoke with my brother about what's been going on with my mom. And he helped me put a lot of things into language. He gave me the language for a lot of things. And I think I was also in a place for me to actually accept his reasoning or his explanation and whatnot. So I've come to accept that my mother is a narcissist. She's a covert narcissist. And it was really, really difficult for me to accept, because I myself, being a mother, I wanted to do unto others as I would have them do unto me, right? So I was giving her a lot of grace, a lot of grace for the ways that she makes me feel in the past and even now. And figuring out and realizing, running my experiences through the filter of mom at least has narcissistic tendencies, and what that is and what it looks like and what the symptoms are, that allowed for a huge relief upon myself. So, to kind of dive into it, how I am and how I've overcome my biggest challenge. Ultimately, my biggest challenge is myself. There's a lot of people out there who kind of adopt the same narrative. You are the only person standing in your own way. You are the only person holding you back. Not necessarily it's all in your head, but sometimes challenges, obstacles, it's all in your head. And I'm not saying that that's the case. But ultimately, I am the only person who has been holding myself back. Now, step one, the first things that I had done and continue to do is the work. Doing the work on myself, constantly growing. It's the self-discovery. It's the healing. It's the looking at my past, looking at my present, looking at how I'm feeling, and looking at my results. Just this constant analysis with compassion and with action. So I've been doing this work for, goodness, at least 10 years, if not more. For some reason, I've always been fascinated with human psychology and personal development and growth. And I always wanted to apply myself. Later on, I'll get into why that is, because at this point, I know my motivation with it. So I've been doing the work, working, growing, looking down into the depths of my soul and really tilling the garden, if you will, breaking things up and getting rid of the old, getting rid of that which doesn't serve me. The work, it's constant, it's painful, but it's liberating. Secondly, I released responsibility. And I know that doesn't sound super profound, but for someone who bore the burden of everything that was wrong all on me, it feels really, really, really good to say that it's not all my fault. And it's not all your fault either. Whatever you guys are going through, whatever is coming up for you, I highly, highly suggest that you look into releasing some responsibility and not saying it's all my fault. Because to an extent, we're not that powerful. We're powerful. Absolutely, we are powerful beings. But we are co-creators with our creator. God, universe, spirit, the God of your understanding, whatever you want to call it. We are co-creators. And it's not all on us. And how that translates and relates to my personal journey is that realizing that my mom is a narcissist or has narcissistic tendencies, and what that looked like basically making her kid feel like it was all her fault. It looked like constantly pointing the finger and accepting a lot of responsibility on me. Excuse me. Sneezes can also be considered a release of energy. Sneezes, yawns, just a release of energy. Or it could just be allergies. You choose. But having a mom, a caregiver with narcissistic tendencies, that also means that as a child, my actions, my results, who I was, everything that I did, was a reflection of her. And it made her look bad or feel bad. And, she was also, still to this day, is not comfortable with emotion. Any type of outburst of emotion, any type of expression of large emotions, basically, and any type of help. Over the weekend, I expressed that, the reason as to why I we have these monthly dates with my daughters and her, and she just takes them for a few hours. And initially it was agreed upon because I have a lot on my plate. Got a lot going on, as moms often do, as working moms often do. And that was my reprieve. That was my reprieve. Hey, Mom, can you take the girls for a few hours? Let me just have some me time, whether I choose to work or whether I choose to do some self-care, just give me a little bit of time. And it started to turn into something that there was more that was put on my plate. And I was cracking and I was breaking. And it is that time of year. I don't know if you guys are going through this, but I've been seeing that there's a lot of people out there that are they're in it right now and they're going through it, be it that time of year or something going on in the universe or in the solar system or what, any solar flares going on, Mercury in the microwave, whatever it is. There's a lot of us that are going in it, going through it. And I called to leave her a message and I broke. And I was like, Mom, I need help. I need help. And she turned it around and she said, well, that essentially it was like, well, that sounds like a you problem. She was like, well, maybe you should talk to Kyle, my husband. Maybe you guys need to reorganize priorities and this and that. I'm like, oh my God. It's like somebody that's drowning saying, hi, can you throw me, I'm drowning. Can you please throw me a life preserver? And she's like, well, maybe you shouldn't even have jumped in the water in the first place. So with that sincere lack of compassion, it really, really opened my eyes. And for you guys, how this might look for you is just, hey guys, take stock in, do an energy audit. How do certain people make you feel? How do certain people make you feel? How do certain situations, environments, experiences, how do they make you feel? And that's where coming back home to your body is so important. That's part of the work. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it? Being able to give yourself that language so that you can run those things through through your filters. When my mom said that, it was like, oh, okay. It sounded like gaslighting, and it felt like deflecting. Being able to have that language, you guys, this is part of the growth, this is part of the healing, is immersing yourself in situations and resources and in books so that you can give yourself the language to heal. And there's some of you who are healers on here, so that you can give your clients the language to heal and to move through and to move forward. So when I had that realization and I spoke with my brother, it really allowed for me to release responsibility, to give it back, and to say, it's not just me. Oh my God, it's not just me. It's not just me. And you guys, it's not just you. It really isn't. You are not the way that you are just because you are the way that you are. You are the way that you are because of the environments that you are in. Nature versus nurture, right? It plays a role. Both play a role in who you are. And now you get to decide who you want to be. And for me, that was one of the most liberating things when I realized, like, hey, it's not all my fault. My mom provided language and an environment to make me feel a certain way. And going back to what I was saying earlier about doing the work and the growth and constantly like being obsessed with this personal development, my original and ultimate motivation was this. Hey, maybe if I fix myself, if I do enough work and I fix myself, then mommy will love me. Then she'll accept me. And in talking with my brother, I realized there's no amount of work that I can do on myself to make my mom love me and accept me in the way that I need to be loved and accepted. That was huge. That was so huge. Because now I know that I get to do this work for me. And I get to do this work for my daughters. And now I get to take this energy that I was putting so much into be better, Pumehana. Like, learn more, fix yourself, grow more. Reach the pinnacle of an amazing person so that maybe your mom will love you and accept you. But she can't. Like, my brother and I were talking, and we realized that she just does not have that capacity for whatever reason. And that's okay. That's okay. There's a part of me that does feel sad for her, but she is so content in the way that she is. She doesn't feel the need to, and it's not my job to try and fix her or try to pull the veil out from her eyes so that she can see, hey, hi, you've been hurting people for decades. She doesn't want to see that. She can't see that, and that's okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to love my babies in the way that they need to be loved and that they should be loved and that I should have been loved. And it's so liberating and it's so empowering because now I feel like I've gotten to the root of it. And who's to say? Maybe a few years are going to go by and that's how it usually is. Haha, just kidding. There's more. But at this point, right now, it feels like I pulled the Jenga block that toppled everything. All, like, my internal battles and struggles. And now ask my husband. This morning, I started crying because I came downstairs and my daughters are eating chocolate chip banana pancakes, like freshly made chocolate chip banana pancakes. And one of them was wearing a crazy Christmas dress that she doesn't really have to wear, but she wanted to. And the other one is wearing Christmas pajamas and we're listening to Christmas music all right before school. And we're like, our whole family is together. And I'm just like, never in a million years. Like, this was not my childhood. This was not my childhood at all. And it felt so good, you guys. Oh, God. It felt so good. So, to be able to do this work for yourself and for the generations to come, that's really meaningful. Lastly, the last thing that is helping me overcome my biggest challenge is support and community. I had my brother to talk to. And fortunately, my brother is also in a place where he can mentally and emotionally hold space for me. That he's been in it. And he's gone to the depths. And he's done the work on himself so that he could help me do the work, give me language, and give me the love and support and hold the space that I needed. So overcoming your biggest challenge is doing the work, the self-discovery, the growth, the love and compassion for yourself. Number 2 is releasing some of the responsibility that it's all on you. It's all on you. Thank you. To be better. Because it's not just you. And it's not all your fault. It's really not, you guys. To be able to release that and honestly delegate some of the responsibility, it feels so good. It feels so supportive. And number 3, find your people. Find your tribe, find your community that you can be your whole authentic self with. And say, guys, I'm messed up. Help. Because you are absolutely worthy of it. You're absolutely worthy of love and support and care and compassion. We cannot do this work alone. Oh God, we cannot do this work alone. Yes, there are some points and some segments in which you do need to be alone. And you do need to come back home to yourself and say, hey, what do I want? What do I need? How do I feel and how do I want to feel? But moving from the solitude to the community, to the tribe, going back and forth, so necessary. So, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate your eyes and your attention. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate. You are loved. You are cared for. You are worthy of all of your desires. You are worthy for all of the care and the compassion that you are lacking. Sometimes we need to give it to ourselves first. And awesome. Also, thanks, James. On the times that you feel like you can't give it to yourself, give it to someone else. Love, kindness, care, and compassion. Give it away, because that also helps too. Thank you so much, you guys. That concludes another episode of Healing with Pumehana. I hope this helps you on your healing journey. I love you so much. Obviously, there will not be a Healing with Pumehana next Monday, as it will be Christmas. I hope you guys spend your time with family and friends and the people that you love. Remember to give that love to yourself. Aloha.